welcome to Sir-Kenneth's Talk Show! Good day and welcome back to this brand new episode and brand new season of Sir-Kenneth's Talk Show. Today we're going to be talking about the Netflix show Building the Band. But before we begin, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and don't miss another episode of Sir-Kenneth's Talk Show. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this Netflix show Building the Band is actually a reality show. It's a music competition kind of show, kind of like The Voice, except it's a different version. Here in this case, it's the bands that are built like from start to like to get one winner. Because at the beginning of the show there were like over 30 candidates who auditioned. The auditions are blind auditions and they are auditioning for each other. Okay, so it's not like they audition for a judge to pick, they audition for each other and then they build their bands themselves. And once these bands are built, then they have judges who like guide them on throughout the entire journey. And the main judge in this show was Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls. And the guest judges were Liam Payne, R.I.P. from One Direction, and Miss Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. And I don't know if I should call him MC or presenter, was AJ from Backstreet Boys. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Yeah, so those were kind of like those were involved in this show because they are all from successful music bands from the 90s, 2000s, and even 2010s. Yeah, so those were the judges. And so out of the tens of candidates that auditioned, they only had room for 6 bands on the show to be formed. 6 bands, and each band didn't have to contain more than four members and couldn't contain less than 3. So it's either you have a band of 3 or a band of 4. Yeah. So they auditioned. The auditions were amazing. I felt like they all could sing. They all sang really well. Though there were some people who didn't have enough like connections to form a band, and therefore they had to be disqualified. Yeah, but I feel like in general the auditions were quite good, and they all could really sing. And the first candidate, the first participant, like the first person who auditioned, it was this guy. I can't remember his name. But he performed "Jealous" by Labyrinth. Oh my God, that song! The way he owned the song, he owned the stage. That was like my favorite audition. Yeah. Another audition that stood out, there was a girl who performed "Rise Up" by Andra Day. Though she didn't get enough connections to form a band, but her audition was through the roof. It was amazing. Those were like the 2 auditions that stood out to me. Yeah, but generally everyone did pretty well. Yeah, so the first band was formed. It was a mixed band, 2 girls and 2 guys. I didn't know how I felt about the band at the beginning because they were like completely different kind of people, and I'm not just talking about their physique, but even their voices, the style of singing. It was 4 completely different voices, but somehow they came together, and mind you, they were one of the most successful bands on the show, and I really loved them. I was rooting for them. Yeah, but yeah, the first band, and as they evolved, all the 6 bands got to get their names, got to choose their names, create their names, however I want to say it. Yeah, so this first band that was formed later on in the show, they called themselves Season 4. Like, I guess there were 4 of them, so Season 4. Yeah. And then the second band that was formed was a boy band. There were 2 boy bands that were formed, and this first boy band was my favorite boy band. They had their name, the first name they chose was Solidify. Soul, like soul music, and defy, Solidify. Yeah. The 4 members they had 4 guys in this group. They had more of like an R&B sound, which I really loved. They kind of reminded me of all the boy bands from the 90s. It was like a mix of Boys to Men and Backstreet Boys and Westlife. Like they could really sing. They had the vocals, they had the dance moves. You had vocals like Boys to Men, and they had dance moves like, I don't know, Backstreet Boys. Did Backstreet Boys dance? I don't know, but they could really move. Yeah, so, yeah. Well, not all of them. Two of them could really dance, and the other two were like struggling. But also, that was my favorite band. Okay, out of the six that formed, Solidify was my favorite band. The third band that was formed was a girl group. A girl group. They had four members, I think. Yeah, four members. They call themselves Siren Society. Siren, like the mermaid, and Society. You get it? Yeah. I feel like they could sing. Yeah, but what I really didn't enjoy about them was the fact that I don't know if it was the song choices most of the time, which didn't really click for me, but they could really sing and they had stage presence. Yeah. Another of the girl bands was a group of three, Frequency. Yes. They had more of like pop kind of sound, pop R&B mixed with pop kind of sound. Yeah, which I wasn't really feeling them at the beginning of the show, but because of the show they kind of impressed me. Yeah, so yeah, they were pretty good too. And the last band, which was my least favorite, was how they called no, this wasn't the last band. The last girl band was a band of three girls. They were called, I can't remember the name. They were my least favorite band. Not because they couldn't sing. They had, believe me, I think this band had the most powerful vocalist on the show, but they were my least favorite band because they didn't sound like a group. They sounded like a solo artist who were just doing a collab on a song, but they didn't really sound like a band, like a music band is supposed to sound. And everyone wanted to be the star in the group, whereas in the group it is us, but we're more of like me. So that's what didn't really work out in this group. But they could really sing well though, but this was my least favorite band. And the last band was a boy band group, midnight whatever, midnight to morning, midnight to dawn, something like that. But I think it's midnight to morning. Yeah, midnight to morning, that's the name. They were okay. Wasn't a big fan of them on the show, but yeah, they were okay. Yeah. So these were the six bands that were formed. Sweet Seduction. Sweet something seduction. Okay, y'all remember that group whose name I couldn't remember? I think it was Sweet Seduction. But it's something seduction. If it's not Sweet Seduction, I know it's something seduction. Yeah. But anyway, these six bands were formed. In the course of the show, they had to do several live performances, and they were disqualified progressively. The first group to be disqualified was actually my favorite girl band group. They were the first to be disqualified. Unfortunately, it was Siren Society. I did love their stage presence and their vocals, but I don't know on what basis. I don't know. The judges felt like no, they were the least impressive, so they had to like disqualify them. Yeah. And the second band to be eliminated was what band was that? It was Sweet Seduction. Was it Sweet Seduction? Yeah, Sweet Seduction. Those vocalists who didn't sound like a group, yeah, they were the second band to be eliminated. And the third band to be eliminated was Midnight Society. No, no, not Midnight Society. Midnight to morning. Yeah, they were the third band to be eliminated. So the three bands that went to the finals were my favorite group Solidify. Season 4, the most unconventional group, as the judges put it, they went to the finals, and Frequency went to the finals as well. So for the finale performance, my favorite performance from this entire show was the Iconics, their finale performance. Bye Bye. Like they had the stage presence, the vocals, you know, the choreography, the props on set was, I mean, it was so amazing. That was my favorite performance like of this entire show, and I was really rooting for them. I mean, their vocals, I mean, it was everything. It was really everything. But unfortunately, they were the ones disqualified at the finale. And you know, once they got disqualified, we were left with season 4 and Frequency. And you know, they had a final performance, and I think season 4 performed Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, and Frequency performed this Mariah Carey song, Always Be My Baby. Yes, I feel like I was really rooting for season 4, but unfortunately for them and fortunately for Frequency won the show. Yeah, they were like the first ever winners of Building the Band. So it's 3 girls, 1 white girl, 1 black girl, and 1 Latina. So yeah, cultural diversity, I guess. But I think that, you know, I think they were a good band. I just wasn't feeling them that much. I mean, their vocals, if we're just comparing vocals, they had nothing on season 4, and they had nothing on Iconics. Like, those 2 bands murdered them vocally, if we're being honest. Yeah, but I think what gave them a plus was, you know, their stage presence and the choreography. They could really dance. I think that's what gave them a plus on this show. Yeah, and my favorite performance of them was the performance of Bad Guys by Billie Eilish. I mean, they owned the stage, they killed it. That was when I knew they didn't come to play. Like, that was my favorite Frequency performance. Yeah, but like I said, my favorite performance in the entire show was Bye Bye by Iconics. Yeah, I really love that performance. I've been watching it all over and over again. Yeah, yeah. So Frequency won the show. They won the show, and if I'm being honest, I was I was disappointed because I was really rooting for Iconics. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So that was it for today's episode. I'd like your thoughts down in the comment section. Have you seen Building the Band already, or are you yet to see it? If you have already seen it, I'd like to know which band was your favorite. Just leave it in the comment section, and which performance was your favorite performance on this show. If you haven't, please, I urge you to really check it out. It's really impressive. It's really, you know, if you're a music lover, this show is for you. Okay, yeah. So stay tuned to Sir-Kenneth Talk Show. Remember to like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.